Have you ever thought that a simple no could change your entire life? That's exactly what happened to me. I said no to the Homeowners Association over something small, and the next morning, my cabin resort was nothing but ashes. But the real shock came when I opened their budget. I never imagined that standing up for myself would lead to the destruction of everything I built with my own hands. My cabin resort wasn't just a business. It was my dream, my safe space after years of saving and struggling. Nestled deep in the mountains, surrounded by tall pines and crystal clear lake, it was the kind of place where families came to reconnect and weary travelers came to find peace. But my peace didn't last long. The Homeowners Association, or HOA, had been breathing down my neck since the first day I opened my doors. They didn't like the fact that I was independent, that I refused to pay unnecessary fees, or let them dictate how I ran my resort. I had always said no to their endless demands. No, I wouldn't cut down the 100-year-old trees they called hazards. No, I wouldn't allow them to charge my guests for community maintenance. And no, I wouldn't hand over a slice of my profits just because they wanted it. Every no made me more of a target. I could see it in their eyes at every HOA meeting. The anger, the resentment, the greed. They wanted control, and I wasn't giving it to them. Then one summer night, everything changed. I woke up to the crackling sound of fire. At first, I thought it was just a bad dream. But when the smell of smoke hit me, my heart dropped. I rushed outside to see my resort, my cabins, my livelihood, engulfed in flames. The fire spread fast, too fast. By the time firefighters arrived, it was too late. Everything was gone. Neighbors whispered about an accident, maybe faulty wiring, maybe a campfire gone wrong. But I knew better. The cabins were new, carefully built, with no chance of such negligence. And then in the crowd, I noticed something that froze my blood. Several members of the HOA watching silently, almost smugly. That's when I realized this wasn't an accident. The HOA had finally gotten what they wanted. They thought destroying my resort would destroy me. But they didn't know one thing. I had a secret weapon, something that would make them regret ever crossing me. Because I wasn't just keeping records of my business. I had been quietly tracking theirs. And their budget had secrets darker than the ashes still smoldering on my land. The next HOA meeting was tense. My presence alone seemed to make them uncomfortable, as if they thought I'd simply disappear after the fire. They didn't expect me to show up, and they definitely didn't expect me to walk in with a thick binder under my arm. I waited until they were halfway through their usual routine of fake smiles and financial updates. Then, when the president smugly announced another increase in community fees, I stood up. Before you raise fees again, I said calmly, maybe everyone should see where the money is really going. The room went silent. I placed my binder on the table and flipped it open. Inside were months, no years, of carefully collected data, financial statements, invoices, receipts, things I had requested legally, things they never thought I'd actually analyze. But I had, and what I found was explosive. Tens of thousands of dollars labeled as maintenance that never happened. Emergency funds that had mysteriously vanished. Payments to contractors who didn't exist. And most damning of all, large sums quietly redirected to accounts linked to certain HOA board members. The president's face drained of color. One woman dropped her pen. A man in the corner started sweating, so hard it was visible from across the room. This, I continued, holding up one of the statements, is fraud. And not just petty fraud. We're talking six figures. Money stolen from this community. From every homeowner who trusted you. Do you really think the authorities won't be interested in this? Gasps filled the room. Homeowners who had once blindly followed the HOA now turned furious eyes on the board. Whispers turned into shouts. The board tried to silence me, but it was too late. The truth was out. I leaned forward and lowered my voice, making sure every word cut through the chaos. You thought you could burn down my resort and leave me with nothing. But you forgot one thing. I keep receipts, both literally and figuratively. By the end of the night, the board members were cornered. The homeowners demanded a full investigation, and within weeks, authorities stepped in. Fraud charges, criminal investigations, resignations. The once powerful HOA crumbled like ash. And me? I didn't just rebuild my resort. I rebuilt it stronger, better, and more popular than ever. Thanks to the flooded community support once the truth came out. The HOA thought they could erase me with fire. But instead, they lit the flames of their own destruction. Because when you steal from people, when you abuse power, when you destroy someone's dreams for greed, eventually, the truth burns brighter than any fire. And that's exactly what happened. Every HOA has secrets, and we're here to reveal them. So, click subscribe, ring that bell, and stay tuned for more.